ka tumalangkan. So sarap alam! May isok na lang ka.
So, may akteryo.
May iwat isok ni may siya ni! Sure!
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's bulletin. I am Martha Hamtenya. In the news tonight, Chief Kapoor spokesperson rubbishes suspension claims. Poor media and information literacy among citizens can cause harm to others. Struggling kids rise above joblessness by making shoes out of tires. Pombili Shilongo resumes GBV road campaign. And Roundup Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the Weather. The spokesperson to Chief Vipira Kapoor has denied that he has been suspended from his position as the chairman of the Chiefs Council under the Overherero Traditional Authority. The comments of the spokesperson, Dr. Vathiwa Kaumbi, came after a letter dated 22nd June was sent to Kapoor informing him of a number of disciplinary charges against him.
A letter addressed to Vipira Kapoor indicated that at the recent Chief Council's meeting on the 24th of April 2022, the Overherero Traditional Authority called upon Kapoor to answer to a number of misconducts, including disregarding the Chief Council's decision to preserve the burial shrine for Odhombara of Itambi and allowing the government and late Professor Mburumba Kerina's family the permission to bury him there. Kapoor is also accused of causing the OTA to incur financial loss of about 95,000 Namibian dollars in legal fees by obtaining a court order against Kapoor to stop the burial of Kerina at the shrines of the Odhombara of Itambi. Thus, Kapoor is ordered to refrain from speaking and acting on behalf of the OTA and only act within the confinement of the Ovitoto area where he is the chief. Dr. Wadhwa Kaumbi responded that Kapoor's suspension notice is nothing but hot air, adding that the notice was issued by someone who lacks legal standing.
Kapoor remains the chairman of the Chief Council. He is very much in charge, and in that capacity, he is the acting paramount chief, and we'll proceed with that, with our process to ensure that justice is done, that we will get our properly elected and designated paramount chief in due course. That process will continue. This letter is just a lot of hot air. I mean, it's you recall that the so-called or the purported Chief Council meeting that they held on the, I think, 24th of April or so, it came about 2 weeks after the judgment in the Agent Court case where it was declared that Professor Kashiwa does not have any local standing, in the authority, and in fact even to bring the case to court, and that's how the case was thrown out. And then when they lost that case, then they, rehashed something, and then they came up with a so-called Chief Council meeting where they took these decisions, So they don't have that, because remember, this is all being orchestrated by Professor Kashiwa, who does not have any legal standing, He's not a recognized traditional leader. He's not the head of the traditional authority, so he's got no powers to do the things that he's doing there. And in fact, we are formally going to reply to that letter of suspension, because remember, we became aware of it already in April. After that meeting, remember, they had this demonstration where they delivered a petition to the minister. The same thing, so there's just a rehash of those things there. Look, these people are trying everything under the sun to ensure that Professor Kashiwa remains their undisputed, paramount chief. He has failed so far in terms of getting recognition from government, because they have submitted applications for him to be recognized as the chief in terms of the Traditional Authorities Act of the Ohio Traditional Authority. That has not happened. He submitted the application, but it's not been processed, because obviously the minister cannot pronounce himself until the court case is resolved, and also until our petition is taken care of, because we've submitted the petition in terms of Section 12 of the Traditional Authorities Act. So all of those things, they are blocking him, and he's actually in a state of limbo, because he's purporting to be leading a traditional authority, but he doesn't have the mandate to do that in terms of the Act. And so he needs to now try other things to ensure that all these obstacles that are in his way are removed by hook or crook, So he tried with the urgent application that I was talking about, because he thought that therefore if he had won that court case, that would have made things easier for him, because that would have actually almost thrown a spanner in the wheels of the review application. That did not work out. So that is why then they concocted this idea of the Chiefs Council meeting. So they are trying every trick in the book, to get rid of Mbaraka Puo, because he's the main man. He's the main protagonist in this whole court case. He's the applicant in the court case. If they get rid of him, one way or the other, they hope that therefore they will somehow destroy the case.
Kaumbi further added that the Overherero Traditional Council does not have a code of conduct in place, and that the council still has to set up a tribunal for disciplinary offences.
Normally when you charge somebody in a company, there's a code of conduct, and the list of offences with their sanction, If somebody, for instance, takes a company car without authorization, this is maybe you get a verbal warning, and then you do this, and depending on the severity of the offense, that is normally what happens in this. There's nothing like that. So they just decided today, okay, look, no, that is an offense. So it's an offense, so it's a misconduct, and therefore we'll charge you with that. Where is that? The OTA does not even have a code of conduct. There is no tribunal. We're supposed to have set up a tribunal and then come up with a disciplinary code that says, look, every person, who contravenes this code, these are the actions that will be taken. There's nothing like that. So they were just cooking up some charges, and then they're going to set up a kangaroo court.
Efforts to get a comment from the Overherero Chief Council's acting secretary were futile.
Choose boldness and celebrate the skin you're in with Nivea Rich Nourishing. Our triple layered care of deep moisture serum, natural almond oil, and vitamin E enriches your skin for 48 hours. It's time to show off your best skin. Choose to wear your skin with pride with Nivea Rich Nourishing.
Opeyemi Tangi Toriola from the Mili Learning Initiative says that citizens who voluntarily publish defamatory comments about others using social media platforms could be attributed to a lack of basic media and information literacy skills.
The country recently witnessed a defamation case involving an opposition party member who recorded himself making a series of false statements about Namibia's First Lady. The accused, who was fined and ordered by the High Court to pay 250,000 Namibian dollars in damages, claimed that he was only reposting rumors on social media that were already in the public domain. Opeyemi Tangi Toriola, a specialist in media and information literacy, says that such cases of defamation may be related to people's lack of media and information literacy skills.
I would start with a story of a young man who is an activist, and I wouldn't want to mention names, but this is a young man that was passionate about the things about his country, and he went ahead to raise his voice without understanding the gravity and the dangers of what social media as well as all forms of media have on the lives of people. And he said something on a WhatsApp group. And lo and behold, whatever he said today has cost him so much more than just what he posted on a WhatsApp group. And this is where I would say that information, be it online or offline, has a grave influence on the life of young people and the youth in general, especially in Namibia. MILI, as we get to know it, the Media and Information Literacy Learning Initiative, is passionate about raising the awareness about strengthening the media and information literacy skills of young people.
The Access to Information Bill, which promotes the public's free access to information, was passed by the National Assembly earlier this year. The director of the MILI Learning Initiative, Josephat Shiho, says that while they support the policy developments and the steps taken by the government to bring the law into effect, the government should place more emphasis on media and information literacy skills. According to Shiho, equipping citizens with critical knowledge to analyze information can help them to make informed decisions.
Accessing or having an access to information law in place is just a document, but then for you to make sure that everybody understands this access to information and they know where they can access it and they know how to access it and they know how to understand what is written in that access to information, they need now the media and information literacy component around that. So they need to be able to analyze this information. Yes, they have accessed it, but then have they analyzed it? Have they created their own, thoughts around it and all of these things? So for us, really, we feel like, all of these things when it comes to policy, when it comes to legislations, when it comes to, stakeholders engagement and this whole documentation, the media and information literacy component is crucial. It's crucial for a country, it's crucial for young people, it's crucial for literally anybody, because that is how you become, well informed. That's how you become a conscious citizen that can contribute meaningfully and that can engage meaningfully, because you have the literacy and the media literacy component. That gives you really the platform to engage meaningfully.
The MILI Learning Initiative program has been successful in empowering more than 2,000 Namibian youth by equipping them with the necessary knowledge on media and information literacy, critical thinking, and training skills. For the upcoming summer school, interested people can visit the MILI Learning Initiative located at the College of the Arts campus in Katutura, Windhoek. The next summer school training program will be held at the campus from the 10th to the 20th of August this year.
There are different types of decisions, such as rational, habitual, impulsive, and coin tossing.
Let's get started.
The consumption of poultry containing food poisoning organisms, such as salmonella, but the danger to health can be dramatically reduced.
What about other organisms in the animal kingdom? Well, some animals are ectothermic.
Welcome to Lesson 5 for Grade 10 and 11 Mathematics.
Methodologies and approaches in order to produce relevant and suitable results.
Two unemployed members of the Children of the Liberation Struggle residing at Ndilimani Camp in Brakwater have resorted to manufacturing various products from used car tires and leathers to make end meet. The duo makes shoes, hats and other accessory products.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Using their hands, thread, scissors and needles, 41-year-old Jodni Kemwa and 33-year-old Ndamona Julius are aspiring entrepreneurs fighting unemployment by manufacturing products such as shoes from used tires and leather. They are part of the group known as the Struggle Kids, who are camping at the Swapo-owned farm as they await job opportunities from the government. Nikemwa, who started the business, said that they did not receive training in making the shoes and that it is something that they are passionate about.
Cheti fopo tuta meki lo ngao. Nga kwa shine tuli nga shomune kanga. Ita penya turande. Tato te itokoka. Shine te itokoka ngainya. Kanga kenda barane. Oku ningo shima shoye mweni. Shiwaka ningo shima shoye mweni. Ndakama nane kucha. Mboli aiduru kweta pali shimwe. Shidure shi. Popo kweke tata mekera poku. Oku ningini manga shipini nganga. Ambere nukuli atuja ini maito hege haturongi fakujara. Epaya. Ordinango presa irire. Kainga epaya orina 150. Lalonga meteyera. Itapa ino 250. Lalonga meteyera. Inga kwenye dinya doshipa. Do dina 450. Do di kwani na tangu atu ningini nga shinga. Itapa mararonga moshi atashoderera. O yarunga moshi atashoderera. Utenda inimesha peitura monkaroshi atashoderera. Mara ne presa daro kashiko era koshima kucha osharongwa monkaro ulipi.
Nikemwa further state they make all kinds of products out of leather and used tires, but they are challenged with capacity and tools that will enable them to produce more product at a faster pace.
Okucheke upsaka dipeife oshima tashi tudenge. Customer no materiara aningondiro ni longifo mwane. Atodru karatu arongifa. Opotu dure karatu etapa ya shingeno ngeno kwa ipena ilongifo nana nawa. Dete kuchangeni watu duru kunduruka pa natango ete ipaji hapo do shiki do ngaku.
33-year-old Damono Julius joined the business to enable her to feed her family. She said the start was difficult as they started by making very heavy shoes, but now they have mastered the art of the shoe. The challenges they face are such as theft because they live in makeshift structures made from plastic.
Oshipo shinondiloa. Ovieti to purwa koshipa shimwashi keke mango to purwe felena shamo ovieti oshipa shimwashi keto shilandi. Onjilo nai. So sengo watu stalakele omongo stalakela ke to mongo watu kenda brane se tu survive kulia ko beni ta shimushajimuka etu ningilango ne shijulela. Marketing etu turi mo brenge ke no marketing. Ninati aluke kapu nina tulandi feke ngashipuka mbanyo po mo akufa penyawala ndifapo limwe penyawala ndifapo mbali pawala ndifo marketing etu o ya blog nai katuninga marketing anando gashona ngoto dulu pa mwala ngoku tusapota mini mangashi te yuli kapa to dulu kutufika ndeto tu supporten o wala kutusapota materials to dulu kutusapota ke sheke shuna pawalo kutupa sheke tuye commission no shima shetu sheshi ambuke elala kanole to kuyambuka.
They further told Today on One that they would like Good Samaritans to help donate materials such as leather, tires and sewing kits, or perhaps for those who have places where they can set up a shop to come to their aid as they aim to market their products and grow while recruiting others in their business.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Choose boldness and celebrate the skin you're in with Nivea Rich Nourishing. Our triple layered care of deep moisture serum, natural almond oil, and vitamin E enriches your skin for 48 hours. It's time to show off your best skin. Choose to wear your skin with pride with Nivea Rich Nourishing.
Pombili Shilongo, a well-known media personality, is resuming her gender-based violence prevention and response campaign. It will begin next week until September, and it will focus on community engagement and regional visits.
The campaign, launched in 2020, will be heading back to the road under the theme Leaving No One Behind, targeting 4 regions, and will focus on adolescent girls, pregnant and lactating women, and people with disabilities. The campaign also targets vulnerable groups who are susceptible to sexual and gender-based violence and lack access to basic needs and essential health services. Speaking to Today on One, Pombili Shilongo, the founder of the GBV Prevention and Awareness Campaign, stated that the project is aimed at ensuring continuity of essential life-saving intervention and safeguarding of vulnerable women and girls' rights. Shilongo also mentioned that the project Leaving No One Behind will be targeting a wider audience as the COVID-19 outbreak made people's lives become harder.
We will be traveling to 4 regions. This is Kunene, Umsati, Ohangwena, and then we come back and ending off in Windhoek. These will start off as of the 18th of July. We're looking into being into one town for about 4 days. Day dedicated to the schools, days dedicated to the community, visiting also the maternal homes like I had mentioned, and not leaving out persons with disability. The project though will run for a much longer period because there's still information that is posted or to be posted out on social media. This also becomes easier to share on WhatsApp. It becomes easier to make sure people have the relevant information by them. In the past we have had posters depicting myself abused, just so that people sort of relate. And from that project, a lot of people have reached out wanting to be a part of it. And so with this initiative, we will feature other personalities as well, who speaks to the communities, who speaks to a different domain in their native language. So that's what we're looking at. Now with Project Leaving Nobody Behind, it's similar, but now we're targeting a much wider audience, knowing that the COVID pandemic has even hit. It has probably had made people's lives even 10 times more harder and circumstances even worse than what it used to be. Partners have lost their jobs. Some kids, girls who dropped out of school, never went back to school. And so we're really targeting pregnant women as well, mainly because some pregnant women can be in a very abusive situation, but because of their circumstances, they choose to stay. They choose to not know even who to speak to or talk to about when it comes to these situations. We're targeting adolescents and, of course, young girls who have dropped out of school or who are planning to drop out of school.
She added that the campaign also focuses on men as part of its theme, Leaving No One Behind.
Just to add on, persons with disability, pregnant women, women in general, also targeting men as well. Why are we targeting all of this? Is because with the project Leaving Nobody Behind, it affects everybody. And we tend to really exclude, especially persons with disability and pregnant women as well. If you're talking about GBV, it affects everybody, from a child to an adult, to a parent. Everybody is affected directly or indirectly. And so we've really decided with Project Leaving Nobody Behind as the drivers of this, we should make sure that in each community we've left a footprint at least in 1 or 2 areas within these places. Like I said, with COVID hitting us, it has probably put more pressure on people in different circumstances now. I mean, a breadwinner is no longer a breadwinner. A student that used to go to school can now not afford to go back to school because there's no money. Education is not being funded anymore. It forces them to be uncomfortable or in unforeseen circumstances. And you need to also understand that most Namibians don't even know how to identify the forms of gender-based violence. Verbal abuse, for example. In some cultures within Namibia, it's a norm. I mean, if he does not scream at me, if he does not hit me, he doesn't love me. And if you look into our recent articles of late, Ohangwena and Umsati region tops when it comes to rape, it tops when it comes to gender-based violence, and also pregnancy, teenage pregnancy. And so sometimes it's best you intervene into the regions and hear from the community, just apart from what you are reading and what you are seeing, what really is the cause of all of this and how can we best assist.
The campaign is carried out in partnership with the United Nations Population Fund and the Namibian Planned Parenthood Association, with financial support from the government of the Republic of Japan.
and responsible farming practices must be part of the answer to the challenge of sustainability. But is science moving quickly enough to fulfill the needs of humanity?
The main reason why it's at this height is for the harvester comfort. So right now in California, we have a labor shortage. There is not as many people who want to do the work of harvesting strawberries. It's really hard.
I think one of the differences between being an indoor farmer and an outdoor farmer, in a greenhouse in particular, we try and take advantage of the best of both worlds.
I would say, either someone's got a family characteristic that they just say, you know what? It's a female that says, I don't want my dad's nose.
Yeah, I could see that. Right. Okay, and yeah, it's pretty obvious, and we'll get you back there and get it all fixed for you, okay?
In other leading stories, the Namibia Statistics Agency released the Consumer Price Index for June 2022, noting that the annual inflation rate increased by 6.0% compared to 4.1% recorded in June 2021. On a monthly basis, the inflation rate increased by 1% compared to 0.1% recorded a month earlier. Transport, food, and non-alcoholic beverages components continued to be the main contributors to the annual inflation rate, with a contribution of 2.7% points and 1.3% points, respectively. The zonal inflation rates for the month under review indicates that the Commerce region recorded the highest annual inflation rate of 6.7%, followed by Kavango East, Kavango West, Kunene, Ohangwena, Omusati, Oshana, Oshikoto, Ochodonjupa, and Zambezi, while the Hardap, Omaheke, Haras, and Irongo regions recorded an annual inflation rate of 5.6% each. Analysis of the average retail price of selected products for the month of June 2022 revealed that consumers in Commerce region paid the highest price for lemons per kg at 29 Namibia dollars 93 cents, followed by the northern regions at 24 Namibia dollars 50 cents, while consumers in the southern regions, including Irongo, paid the lowest price of 23 Namibia dollars 34 cents. The inflation rate measures the change in the Consumer Price Index for the month under review compared to the previous month, as well as to the corresponding month in the previous year. The NSA says the inflation rate is vital for purposes of economic policy making, especially the conduct of monetary policy, and to consumers in general. The Consumer Price Index is published about 15 days after the end of the reference month to which it relates.
Honestly, I've never been so anxious to flip a card.
In your whole life?
My whole entire life. I think it's because I'm probably used to
you used to having the information in
advance. you know? I'm like, I know what I'm going to ask her more. Now I'm on the other side and I'm just like, can we just... And I can't flip the card up until it's my turn, right?
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation.
I think for me, art is important.
Ooh.
Art is everything. But I think first of all, it's important.
I think again, it's about being a nice person, isn't it? Just because somebody's being nasty to you on the road, or you don't necessarily have to be the same as them.
Always we're told you needed to have X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
Like at school
By
already,
this
they're telling
age,
you
yes.
what do you want to be. You're like, I don't even know what I'm now. I'm going to know what I'm then.
I like football.
Relax. Let me just get through today.
This is a nice question.
Okay.
Let us
Is
hear
it about...
No, I wish it was. I wish it was about beep, but it's not.
Joseph Shifeli is up next with Business on One and the economic indicators.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Business on One. The Ministry of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation has called for an increase in employment creation efforts through the integration of higher skilled workers in sectors such as food and agro-processing, manufacturing and mining. Itakanji Morangi made this remark during the ongoing Innovation Investment Readiness Week at the Namibia University of Science and Technology, NUST.
The Minister of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation encouraged participants at the event to collaborate in uplifting the country's economy through innovation. Ita Kanji Murangi says targeted sectors such as manufacturing and mining have the potential to raise employment levels, and innovation in these sectors can place Namibia amongst the providers of intellectual and physical capital.
It is common knowledge that development will be shaped by the fourth industrial revolution. While some countries are ready to confront the change and take advantage of the effects, others are unaware of the storm. The Innovation Readiness Week is an opportunity to integrate innovation in our investment plans and to do so in a manner that involves the public and private sectors, academia and civil society. This week is both a reminder and a practical step to move Namibia in the excellence of nations that are ready to innovate and flourish in the fourth industrial revolution. I have been informed that a concrete outcome, you aim to identify projects with potential for competitiveness and investment attractiveness in focused innovation sectors as per Namibia's diversification strategy. These identified industries: food and agro-processing, mechanical and basic material manufacturing, metals, mining and adjacent industries, machinery and electronics, transport and logistics, renewable energy and green hydrogen, tourism, tech and digital, as well as global business services. These are industries with high prospects for growth and with a propensity for adaptation of their production processes to technology. Inclusion of ICT usage and integration of higher skilled workers in the production processes of these sectors are a given, as these are prerequisites for efficiency and competitiveness. These industries further have the potential to raise employment levels and thereby improve the quality of life of Namibians. It is up to us to identify projects with potential for success, package them, and make them attractive to the owners of capital.
Finance Minister during Day 3 of the IR Week said Namibia needs to rethink its development strategy, noting that the economic growth that the country has experienced over the last few years has not helped to solve many of the social problems such as unemployment and inequality.
I think it's always good to be in an economy which is growing, but it's also important to be in an economy where growth is also helping you to address your social problems. Particularly here, I'm talking about unemployment. Unemployment has always been one of our challenges for the past few decades. And I believe we all share this challenge, and we also understand why the economy has been growing, but it has not been generating employment, because much of our growth was coming from the mining sector, for instance. And increasingly, the mining sector has become very, very capital intensive. You will find the economy growing, diamond is growing, the diamond sector is growing, but government is happy because we are getting some revenue from diamond royalty and they are paying company tax, but it has not been generating employment. In fact, the mining sector has actually has actually been shedding employment. So we like the mining sector, and I think we need to keep continuing to invest in our mining sector because it's really generating revenue, is generating, to some extent, employment. But I think we need to complement that with other industries as well. And I believe that's what we have been discussing over the last few days.
Kanji Murangi further stated that the country should focus on projects with the potential to make it less dependent on other countries in areas such as food and agro-processing, manufacturing of basic material and chemicals, and also in the emerging high-tech areas.
The clock has struck for your daily business and financial news update. Brought to you by The Brief.
Hardleaf Corporation, one of Namibia's leading meat processors, is on the hunt for new market opportunities after it started exports to Botswana, with Angola exports at an advanced stage. Hardleaf Managing Director Gunther Ling says as a business, they always look for new opportunities, and when a future opportunity arises, they investigate and review potential expansion plans. Hardleaf, which is 60% owned by All Heart and Less Group, has operations in South Africa through the distribution and wholesaling of its products. The company also branched out to offer a daily experience in Cape Town. He said the company's factory will remain in Windhoek, with other markets being distribution channels for its products. Mines and Energy Minister Toma Alwendo has come out in defense of the National Petroleum Corporation of Namibia, NAMCOR, arguing there was nothing illegal about the state-owned company's involvement in fuel retailing. This comes as concern has been raised about NAMCOR's dual role, having been appointed by the government to manage and operate the National Oil Storage Facility in Walvis Bay, while also diversifying into retail, opening service stations across the country. According to the Fuel and Franchise Association, FAFA, the position gives NAMCOR an unfair advantage over private companies in the fuel retail sector. Alwendo said it is important for all to understand that NAMCOR as a local brand also plays a catalytic role in improving Namibian local ownership in the sector, while still enhancing the security of petroleum product supply in the country. It is therefore on this basis that the ministry does not see NAMCOR's participation in the sector as conflicting or anti-competitive. FAFA recently called for government's intervention regarding viability changes in the sector, warning failure to reach a consensus will result in the wholesale and retailers shutting down fuel stations until their demands are met. According to Mines Ministry economist Abeg Nego Ekanjo, the government is yet to receive a formal notification of the said wholesale and retailer strike. The Environment Investment Fund of Namibia has funded 2 projects to the tune of $9.5 million, while the government has contributed $500,000 to the initiative. The funding, which is done through the Green Climate Fund projects, aims to reduce climate vulnerability, increase the adaptive capacity and resilience of vulnerable small-scale farming communities in vulnerable extreme northern crop-producing regions that are threatened by climate variability. The Climate Resilient Agriculture in 3 of the vulnerable extreme northern crop-growing regions project is being executed by the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform through an agreement with the fund. This is a 5-year investment that covers the implementation period of 2016 to 2022. The improving rangeland and ecosystem management practices of smallholder farmers under conditions of climate change in Sesfontein, Fransfontein and Warrenkwil areas of the Republic of Namibia project is exclusively ring-fenced for the drought-stricken Kunene region and runs over a 5-year period from 2019 to 2024. The project aims to reduce the vulnerability of smallholder farmers under climate change conditions by safeguarding natural capital that generates ecosystem services to sustain agricultural production systems.
This was your daily Namibian business and financial news update. For in-depth stories, read more on thebrief.com.na now.
And that is all we have for you. Be sure to follow us on our social media pages for more on the business front.
Win free airtime with Learn on One. Tell us what's your favorite subject on Learn on One and win $50 airtime. SMS your answer, name, age, and the town you live in to 555. Standard T's and C's and SMS rates apply. Learn on One. Invite learning in.
Numerous cones demarcating bicycle lanes around the city have been destroyed before they were officially opened to the public. The city of Windhoek also refutes that the bicycle lanes are narrow, as they were constructed in accordance with the non-motorized transport infrastructure guideline documents. Peter said he was under the impression that the initiative was aimed at encouraging people to own bicycles and practice a healthy habit. Nico said the material used were cheap with inflated prices. He said they should use old rail tracks from Trans-Namib instead. Sam said this is not a smart idea at all, as the cones are damaging vehicles and obstructing traffic. Jonita was expecting to see pavements. Wouter said the idea was good, but not on narrow roads. Thomas said the damage is caused by individuals driving under the influence of alcohol. Zeno said replacing the cones is a waste of money. Silvanus said the progressive forces are leading the city to progress. That's all from Comments Corner. Be sure to engage on our stories on our social media pages for broadcast on Today on One.
We never thought that this would actually happen in our country, especially for the youth. Everyone wants to play soccer now because of the obsolete.
Castro Lumbo is up next with a sports update.
Good evening and welcome to Sports on One. I'm your host Castro Ulumbo. As the Special Olympics Unified Cup 2022 draws closer, Namibia's female Special Olympics soccer team's training is progressing well ahead of the competition, which is scheduled to take place in Detroit in the United States of America from the 31st of July to the 6th of August. Head coach Eliaser Amuthitu says that the preparations are going well and expects good performance from his team. Special Olympics unified sports teams consist of footballers with and without intellectual disabilities playing together. Visiting their training ground, Sports on One caught up with the female Special Olympics head coach Eliaser Amuthitu to share his expectations as well as how preparations have been going ahead of the competition. Amuthitu anticipates his team to put up a good performance.
Training has been so far so good. Can't really complain much with the whole team coming for training. So it means the attendance was really good. We're trying to raise the intensity as we only have now about a week and a half to get into the second camp where we would depart from there to the States. This will be a great exposure to the girls, and just expect them to go and perform and compete their level best. We are also waiting for something else on the other side, so we are ready and prepared to take on any challenge that we face on the other side. Getting to the tournament, my objective clear. Everybody wants to win. I also want to win, and I'm positive that the girls are going to pull off some flair. So obviously it's up to me now to give them what they need to carry on so that we can go and compete. We are all looking forward to going there to play, but it's a good platform to showcase our talent, because we never know who's on the other side that can really say, you know what, wow, I'm seeing something from this girl. Can we give her something? Can she come over? You never know what comes up. The only challenges were that few girls, they are not from town. We had to get funds for them to travel to Windhoek, and also school. We can't also interfere with their education. Even now they are not here. They went back, but they'll be back here for the second edition of the camp.
The team's captain, Christofina Benjamin, shares the same sentiments as her coach about the preparations, commended her teammates for training hard. Christofina also highlighted some of her personal objectives going into the competition.
Training have been going well since we started. Not bad actually, but we have improved. We have a lot of talent around here. And we're also very excited to leave the country, because not everyone gets the opportunity to travel overseas. So yeah, that's why we are very excited. All I'm expecting from the tournament is, actually, I just need to give my best and then hope that anyone out there will see my talent.
Special Olympics, Namibia will compete against 11 nations at this year's event in Detroit. The competition is also expected to host over 300 both female and male footballers. Thank you for watching. Catch us again tomorrow for more updates on Sports on One.
Thank you, Castro. Time now for the weather forecast.
Here's a look at tomorrow's weather. The interior will be partly cloudy and warm in the northeast and the Karas region. Elsewhere, sunny and mild to warm with sandstorms over the Namib. The coast will be partly cloudy and warm to hot with dust storms. Wind will be light southwesterly at first, becoming fresh to strong northeasterly. Now let's have a look at the minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
We have come to the end of tonight's bulletin. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. Until next time, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Kind boss, kind sis, kind I. Namibia ice. Didage sister Hulda Navasida. Didage I ho out. Namibia Oncology Center Naragrasisen. I come from Ti Quedo. Bounce I hari. Omsnahari. Uma badang mahure. Ngugu sedagini ha ugu. Habe dagedo ngugu sedaga ha ugu habe. Hang are ugu ha. Hoge bounce I hari. Ida tadi nedi 2019 novel coronavirus sting higusa. Au. Bounce I hari.
We know the world is a crazy place right now, but don't panic. Take a breath, slow down, or better yet, stop completely. We'll still be here when everything settles down. In this time of uncertainty, look to nature. She has all the answers, you know. We're not only giving ourselves time to reset, we're giving nature time to restore, revive, restart. We're saving ourselves and we're saving the world. Stay home now so that we can welcome you to Namibia again soon. Yes, the world's a crazy place right now, but don't despair. Find the joy, cherish hope, breathe. Take a moment, take a few, and someday soon you'll once again be able to stare in wonder at this magnificent view. The world's a crazy place right now, but don't worry, we'll still be here. We'll see you again soon.
Every year, around September, the small town of Otapi in northern Namibia hosts an exciting cultural event. The week-long Olofuka Festival is a chance for young Awambo girls to learn the age-old traditions that are fast dying out. The girls arrived with their mothers and aunts at the Otapi showgrounds to spend a week in the traditional homestead. On the first day, while the girls prepared, donning their onyoka shell necklaces and their headdresses, huge pots of food sizzled on fires. While the girls prepared, the younger children took the opportunity to begin the festivities and were later joined by their elders, all eager to celebrate. Around the homestead, stalls were set up selling goods and a wide variety of local food for many visitors to attend the events open to the public. Olofuku, a rite of passage and initiation ceremony to prepare young girls for adulthood, was once common practice in all of the 4 Awamba regions. The tradition was adapted and revived under the encouragement of Dr. Sami Oma. This year, 79 girls participated in the 6th annual Olofuku Festival. During the festival, they were taught to weave baskets and pound grain. They also learned how to behave respectably and how to dress traditionally. Dressed in ornate attire, the girls emerged from the homestead on the final day, making their way through the crowds to the shaded stands. Local residents, visitors, traditional authorities, royalty, and VIPs gathered for the event. The girls waited patiently as the guests arrived and the proceedings began. The Founding Fathers' wise words ended the rich cultural occasion on a perfect note.
We should continue to celebrate and embrace our cultural diversity and hold one another under the One Namibia, One Nation.
Now in its 6th year, the Syrian conflict has impacted heavily on the most vulnerable. More than 2 million children were forced to leave their homes. After 3 weeks at Idemeni, a waterlogged camp in northern Greece, Mohammed Al-Khalil and his family of 4 are desperate to relocate.
حياة صعبة هون، خيم ومطر وبرد وحمام ما في وأمراض ونحن بكل الأحوال ندور مكان يعني آمن فلقينا المنظمات هاي الأمم المتحدة حل بالنسبة لنا، لأن احنا ندور الأمان وندور مشان أطفالنا مشان ننسى الأيام اللي مرت علينا ونتأمل إن شاء الله خير يعني.
But for single mothers like Nisreen Chico, who is stuck at the border shared by Greece and the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, the wait has led to desperation. Her husband was killed by a bomb in Aleppo 3 years ago. These days, she's consumed with protecting her 5 children.
حاسة إنه كثير صعب أنا أولادي نعيش هون. ما فيني أتحمل ما في يعني صار لي 10 أيام هون ولا يوم نمت برياحة. هن بيناموا أنا لا.
Nisreen is not alone. Narin worries about her 2-month-old baby, Delberin, who has contracted a lung infection. She's unsure whether he'll survive.
في معه مرض فيروس، في معه التهابات ما بعرف حرارة، في معه سالب تراجع. خدنا على المستشفى صار 14 هون أنا. امبارح جيت على أساس ما في شيء، جيت لهون كمان نفس الشيء. أولادي كمان هذول كلهم مرضانين.
UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, is providing shelter for the thousands of children and their families trapped here. But it's not enough.
A lot of families with young children have spent weeks, night after night, in the rain, in the cold, under the open sky. The small tents that they have had are not good. It's not proper shelter.